Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the REITs Association of Kenya for convening this. We have been working in collaboration with them as the Nairobi Securities Exchange. I'll be making brief remarks, which is really a read-through from the remarks that we made in the deal room. Firstly, I think it's to acknowledge that the work that's been done by the REITs Association of Kenya is actually extending beyond the borders of Kenya. We had an opportunity and a privilege to travel to the United States of America to have an engagement with the equivalent of REK in that market, which is a REIT. Certainly, it was quite exciting to travel with the officials there, but what was more important to us was the benchmarking and the read-throughs in terms of collaboration, but even more importantly, how the REIT market can actually grow. The REIT market engagements that RAK is having today were similar in the United States of America in the 1960s. But today, the REIT market is worth more than $3 trillion. So that is the trajectory that we're hoping to get to in the far, far future, where I certainly will not be here, but I hope most of us will have played a pivotal role in terms of putting the requisite foundation. More importantly is what the read-throughs were from that market to our market. The real estate market there is going through a season, or rather a situation where they have to contend with high cost of debt, and that is actually affecting the quality of assets that they can be able to acquire in their REITs, certainly affecting margins. There's not too much activity there when it comes to getting new assets into the REITs. But on the market capitalization space, they're still growing. For us, we did get a read-through because we are in an environment where interest rates are pretty high. We are in an environment where we are challenged when it comes to accessing some incentives that we had previously as REITs, especially when it comes to stamp duty. So the question has been, how do we move forward with the REIT proposition when it comes to different sectors, whether it's affordable housing, whether it's private development, or any other opportunities that are available in the real estate sector? I'm pleased to announce that as the Nairobi Securities Exchange, yesterday we had the privilege of hosting His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Ruto, to officiate the bell ringing of the Lindsay sukuk. The Lindsay sukuk is an Islamic finance product, but if you will, it really is a REIT that has been structured where assets are owned by a company that has gotten a construction contract from the Defense Forces. These assets are put into a trust. Then from the trust, the investors put money, and then the investors make money from the assets that are owned by the trust. If you will, that's effectively is a REIT, isn't it? And on that basis, the other interesting thing that emerged from this, it is a private-public partnership. The government has provided the land. The SPV only ring fences the receivables from the leases. So at the end of 15 years, the land is transferred, all the assets on the land are transferred back to the government, and the investor is assured of getting an 11.13% return from the investment for the next 15 years. The first opportunity that we've seen there, and what we are really pleased to announce, is at least the REIT structure has been tried and tested and has been adopted for affordable housing in Kenya. We're very delighted about that. The second thing is we've been able to see the public-private partnership working together. This government has put in the property, whereas the private sector has actually been able to access financing. And thirdly, we are pleased to say that the capital markets have been able to facilitate all of this by providing a platform for listing of the Lindsay sukuk. Now, I know we're here having a masterclass on trust and what have you, but what we've actually appreciated is initially our REIT propositioning when we went and wanted to have this conversation and ask ourselves, how do we bring allocators of capital? How do we bring long-term capital, which is held by trustees through the pension funds, into the space of affordable housing? Our initial backlash was the fact that the return in our markets were actually more favorable to allocate capital to government issuances. Now, this is either a challenge or an opportunity. We've seen an opportunity where somebody has said, I can give you 11.13%. For your conventional financier, it certainly does not make sense. But for your alternative financier, the other asset that was competing with this was giving them a return of 7%. So we are seeing an opportunity where the real estate can still adopt the REIT and look for alternative sources of financing. But then the question is, I know we do have, I don't know if we have pension assets here, but they were in the other room, is how do we then allocate our own long-term capital and provide it as a source of financing for REITs so that we don't get into a space where alternative financing is the only source of funding that goes into long-term opportunities in the real estate sector. As we have considerations and deliberations on the assets that are put into a REIT, I've seen some of the people we work with here talking about the trustee, the role of the trustee, the role of the agreements. It's quite pivotal to appreciate that at least we have a proof of concept when it comes to holding assets in a REIT. I think even more and above that, when you're considering the structure, it's important to open your minds and to see what is the source of alternative finance, or what principles can we actually adopt that then make it palatable for the longer run. I wish you all great deliberations as you engage, and my team are here, my other team members on the other side. We're happy to support you in any conversations. But all in all, I would like to say, should you have a REIT and come up with the structure, we have 2 market platforms. You can register it and have it listed on our main market, or you can register it and have it listed on our unquoted securities platform. It gives you access to your the people that you want to put money into your firm. But more importantly, if you want your issuance to be restricted, we can restrict it, meaning that your information can actually be held in confidence and in trust by the Nairobi Securities Exchange. It doesn't have to be made public if that's your preference. I would really like to deliberate with you much further, especially to explore where you're at and what you're thinking about, and to see what services we can be able to offer with you. Thank you, and I wish you great deliberations.